The two most harmful vitamins for leg weakening following 60. Do your legs feel a bit heavier than usual? Maybe standing for long periods feels more exhausting, or climbing the stairs seems like a mountain. You might even notice your balance isn't quite what it used to be. If that's happening to you or someone you care about, it's time to listen closely. What I'm about to share could explain exactly why your legs are weakening, even when you're trying to stay healthy. And believe me, most people never see it coming. Let me tell you about my neighbor, John. He's 72, retired, and still enjoys walking his dog every morning. But a few months ago he came to me and said, I think my legs are starting to betray me. They feel shaky, weak, like they don't want to support me anymore. He had recently started taking some new vitamins, thinking they would help him age better, but it turns out they were doing the opposite. It may surprise you, but some vitamins that are supposed to keep you strong and healthy can actually speed up muscle loss, strain your joints, and leave your legs tired, unstable, and sore. These are vitamins we often trust, buy at the pharmacy with good intentions, and take every day believing we're protecting our health. But for people over 60, they could be doing real damage. In today's video, I'm going to reveal the two worst vitamins for leg health after age 60. I'll also show you exactly what they're doing to your muscles, how to recognize the warning signs, and most importantly, what you can do right now to protect and even restore your leg strength. And before we go further, if you've felt your legs weakening in the past year or two, just type the number 1 in the comments below. I read every single one. You are not alone. I know it sounds strange to hear that vitamins, something we associate with health, could be making things worse. But you'd be shocked at how many well-meaning seniors experience leg fatigue, joint pain, or balance issues because of what they're taking. So let's get to the heart of it. Most of us know that as we age, our muscle mass naturally decreases. This process is called sarcopenia, and it begins quietly in your 50s and 60s. But what many people don't realize is that your legs are the first place this loss shows up. That's why everyday tasks like getting out of a chair, standing in the kitchen, or walking up steps become harder, even if you're eating well and staying active. And here's where it gets even more surprising. Some of the foods and supplements you take, believing they're helping you, might be fueling that decline. Your muscles rely on specific nutrients to stay strong, contract properly, and repair after movement. When the balance of those nutrients is off, even just slightly, your body starts to struggle. Legs become heavier, joints stiffer, and movement starts to feel like work. If you've noticed even small signs like these, don't brush them off. Instead, let's learn what's really going on and what you can do to reverse it. Now let's go a little deeper into what could be quietly weakening your legs. You see, many of us associate tired legs or sore joints with just aging, and yes, aging plays a role. But it's not the full story. There are hidden triggers, things you consume every day, that fuel inflammation in your muscles and joints. That inflammation doesn't scream out loud, it whispers over time. It starts as stiffness when you wake up, a little soreness after walking, trouble getting out of a low chair, then it grows into something more persistent. Until one day, you feel like your legs just aren't yours anymore. Let me tell you something that happened to Martha, a dear friend of mine from Phoenix. She's 75 now and used to be the most active person in her senior yoga class. But this past winter, she told me something was different. Her legs felt heavier, not painful, just slow, weak. And here's the thing, Martha hadn't changed anything in her lifestyle. She still did yoga, still ate a healthy diet. But she had started taking a new multivitamin she saw advertised on TV, one that claimed to boost immunity and energy. Turns out that multivitamin was packed with high doses of two vitamins that, in the wrong amounts and for the wrong people, can actually undermine muscle strength, increase inflammation, and disrupt proper nerve signaling in the legs. That's when I knew we had to talk about this, because it's happening more often than people realize, especially to folks who genuinely care about their health and are trying to do the right thing. So here's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to expose the truth behind two of the most commonly misunderstood vitamins. I'm going to explain why they become harmful, especially after 60. I'll show you what symptoms to watch for, how to check if you're unknowingly overdoing it, and what simple steps you can take to protect your legs. Because if you're experiencing any of these symptoms, leg fatigue, unsteady walking, persistent soreness, swelling, stiffness, or even just a loss of confidence in your steps, this video could change the way you think about your supplements forever. Now let's pause for a moment and reflect. How often do we assume that more is better when it comes to vitamins? We hear the words antioxidant or immune boosting, and we think, great, give me more. But more isn't always better. In fact, for the aging body, too much of certain vitamins can be just as harmful as not getting enough. The trick is not in the label, it's in the dosage, and how your body responds at this stage of life. Here's something important to remember. After 60, your body processes vitamins differently. Your kidneys may be slower, your liver may be more sensitive, your bones may be less dense, and your muscles may not regenerate as quickly. So what seemed harmless in your 40 seconds or 50 seconds might now tip the scale in the wrong direction. Think about it this way. Would you put racing fuel into a classic car engine without checking the manual? Of course not. You'd tune it carefully, respecting its age, condition, and what it needs now, not what it needed decades ago. That's how we should think about our bodies, especially our legs. Because these legs have carried us through a lifetime. They've taken us to work through milestones around the block with grandkids. They deserve to stay strong, steady, and pain-free. And that strength doesn't come from chance. It comes from choosing wisely what you eat, what you take, and what you avoid. So if you're still with me, stay tuned. In the next part of this video, I'll walk you through the first surprising culprit that could be silently weakening your legs, a vitamin most people think is essential, but that may be doing more harm than good. And before we go there, let me ask you something. Have you started taking any new supplements in the past year? Maybe a multivitamin, a bone health complex, or even an energy booster? If so, type the number 2 in the comments. I want to know how many of us are in the same boat. Now, let's dive into the first dangerous vitamin for your legs and what you can do about it. Let's talk about why the legs specifically are often the first to weaken as we get older. It's not just about getting older in general. It's not simply that everything slows down. There's something very specific going on with the muscles in our lower body after the age of 60, and it's called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. It starts slowly, usually in your 40 seconds or 50 seconds, but after 60, it can accelerate, especially if you're not actively fighting against it. And where does it show up first? In your legs. Why the legs? Because they carry the largest muscle groups in the entire body. Your quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, and calves are the engine behind everything you do. Standing, walking, balancing, lifting, and stabilizing. When these muscles lose mass, you feel it in your everyday life. Getting out of a chair becomes harder. Standing up without pushing off with your hands becomes difficult. Climbing stairs feels like a chore, and, slowly, without even noticing, your independence begins to shrink. Now here's the kicker. Most people don't notice this until it's already affecting their mobility. It's subtle at first. You may think, maybe I'm just tired today, or maybe I didn't sleep well last night. But it keeps happening. And over time, those small signs become your new normal. Until one day your legs give out, and that's when the danger of falls and injuries becomes very real. Let me share the story of Richard, a 76-year-old man I met at a local community center in Oregon. He used to love gardening, but slowly his legs began to tire more quickly. He'd squat down to pull weeds and then struggle to stand back up. At first he blamed it on his knees. Then he thought maybe it was arthritis. But the truth was, he had lost nearly 15% of his leg muscle mass in just 5 years, without even realizing it. And what made it worse? Some of the supplements he was taking were actually accelerating that loss. This is why leg strength is not just about convenience. It's about survival. According to multiple studies, lower body strength is one of the best predictors of longevity and independence. The stronger your legs, the more likely you are to avoid falls, maintain your balance, and stay active well into your 70 seconds, 80 seconds, or even 90 seconds. But there's more to it than just muscle. Your legs also support your cardiovascular system. The muscles in your legs act like a second heart. Every time you walk, your calves help push blood back up toward your chest and brain. When those muscles weaken, your circulation suffers. Poor circulation leads to cold feet, slow wound healing, swelling, and sometimes dangerous blood clots. And let's not forget about balance. Weak legs make you more unstable, especially on uneven surfaces or when you're tired. One wrong step can lead to a fall, and for older adults, a fall is often not just a minor setback. It can be the beginning of a long decline in mobility, confidence, and quality of life. This is why understanding the cause of leg weakness matters. It's not just about feeling tired, it's about maintaining your freedom, your safety, and your ability to live life on your own terms. But here's what's often overlooked. Sarcopenia doesn't just happen because of age. It happens because of inactivity, poor nutrition, and sometimes, ironically, from the wrong supplements taken with the best of intentions. Many older adults reduce their activity levels after retirement. It's natural. You're no longer moving around at work, chasing kids, or even walking as much as you did in your 40s or 50s. But when movement decreases, so does the signal to your body that it needs to maintain muscle. Muscle is a use it or lose it system. Without regular movement, your body starts to break it down. Now combine that with what's happening inside your body. After 60, your digestion changes. You absorb fewer nutrients from food. Your appetite may decrease. You might eat less protein than you used to. And if you're taking certain medications, like antacids, statins, or blood pressure pills, they can interfere with how your body absorbs key nutrients that support muscle maintenance, like vitamin D, magnesium, and B12. To make matters worse, many seniors start adding over-the-counter vitamins without fully understanding what's in them or how those nutrients interact with aging physiology. Sometimes those supplements contain levels that are too high or forms that are poorly absorbed, and they end up doing more harm than good. And this brings us to a critical point. You must be strategic about your nutrition and supplementation after 60, especially if you want to keep your legs strong. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness, about making informed decisions. Think of your legs like a bank account. If you're not depositing the right nutrients and the right kinds of movement, but you're constantly making withdrawals, standing, walking, carrying, lifting, eventually your balance runs low. And when that happens, even small tasks become difficult. Your confidence in movement drops. You start avoiding stairs. You hold on to furniture while walking. You stop walking outside. And slowly your world gets smaller. But here's the good news. That decline is not inevitable. You can build leg strength at any age. You can reverse early signs of sarcopenia. You can adjust your supplements. You can regain control over how you move and feel. It just takes the right knowledge, small daily habits, and attention to what you're putting into your body. So let me ask you, have you noticed yourself avoiding physical tasks you used to do with ease? Maybe you skip walking to the store and drive instead, or you sit down more often than before, just to rest your legs. And that's not laziness, that's a sign. And if that's you, I want you to type the number 1 in the comments right now. It takes courage to be honest about these changes. But awareness is the first step toward progress. In the next part of this video, we're going to dive into the first of 2 specific vitamins that could be accelerating leg weakness, especially when taken in high doses or in the wrong form. These vitamins are incredibly common. You'll find them in multivitamins, bone health formulas, and even in some anti-aging supplements. Stay with me, because the details we're about to cover could be the most important thing you hear this year about your long-term leg health. Now, let's talk about the first of the 2 vitamins that may be silently weakening your legs, especially after the age of 60. This one might surprise you. It's vitamin A. Yes, the same vitamin A you've probably heard helps with vision, immune support, and healthy skin. All of that is true, in moderation, and in the right form. But in older adults, excess vitamin A, particularly in the form of retinol from supplements, can cause more harm than good. Let me tell you what happened to Linda, a friend of mine from San Diego. She's 68 and has always been on top of her health. She takes daily walks, eats clean, and has been taking a multivitamin for years. Last fall, she started experiencing hip pain. Not sharp, but persistent. She also noticed that she was losing confidence going upstairs. Her doctor ran a bone scan, and the results were shocking. She was showing early signs of bone thinning, despite getting plenty of calcium and vitamin D. After a deeper review, they realized something. The multivitamin she had been taking included 5,000 IU of vitamin A in retinol form every single day. That's more than double the recommended daily intake for older women, and well over the tolerable upper limit if taken long term. So what does excess vitamin A do to your body? High doses of preformed vitamin A, meaning retinol or retinol palmitate, can weaken your bones by increasing the activity of bone-destroying cells called osteoclasts. It also interferes with vitamin D's function in building and maintaining strong bones. That means even if you're taking vitamin D and calcium, excess vitamin A can still override those benefits. And when your bones weaken, especially in your hips, spine, and legs, your muscles have to work harder to compensate. Over time, this leads to chronic leg fatigue, joint discomfort, and a higher risk of falls and fractures. This is especially dangerous for older adults, where even a minor fall can result in long recovery times, hospital stays, or worse. Most people don't realize they're getting too much. Why? Because vitamin A is hidden in so many supplements, multivitamins, eye health capsules, liver oil tablets, skin and hair products. Add that to what you might get from your diet, like fortified cereals, dairy, and liver, and it's easy to unintentionally exceed the safe limit. So what can you do? First, check your labels. Look for retinol, retinol palmitate, or retinol acetate. As ingredient names, these are all forms of preformed vitamin A. If you see dosages over 3,000 IU per day or 900 mcg Ray, especially from multiple supplements, it's worth reconsidering. Second, opt for beta-carotene instead. Beta-carotene is the form of vitamin A found in plants like carrots, sweet potatoes, and dark leafy greens. Your body only converts what it needs, so there's no risk of overdose. Third, don't assume more is better, especially with fat-soluble vitamins like A. They build up in the body and take longer to clear out, which means the effects of overuse can creep in over months or even years. If you're currently taking a multivitamin or eye support formula, now is a great time to look at the label and reassess. And if you've ever taken cod liver oil or high-dose vitamin A for skin, eyes, or general health, I want you to type the number 2 in the comments. I want to see how many of us have unknowingly gone down this path. In the next section, we'll move to the second vitamin that may be draining your leg strength, one that's often praised for its anti-aging benefits, but can lead to real trouble if misused. Now let's move on to the second vitamin that could be quietly undermining your leg strength. That vitamin is vitamin E. Yes, vitamin E, the one you often hear about in beauty supplements, immune boosters, and anti-aging formulas. It's often sold as a miracle antioxidant, known to fight free radicals and protect your cells from damage. And while it certainly has important roles in the body, taking too much vitamin E, especially in supplement form, can lead to serious consequences for older adults, including weakness in the legs, balance issues, and even a greater risk of falling. Let's break it down. Vitamin E is fat-soluble, just like vitamin A. That means your body stores it in fat tissue and the liver, rather than excreting it easily like water-soluble vitamins. So when you take high doses every day, your levels can slowly build up, sometimes to toxic levels. The recommended daily allowance RDA for vitamin E in adults over 50 is about 15 milligrams, which equals roughly 22 IU in natural form. But many vitamin E supplements on the market contain 400 IU or more per capsule, nearly 20 times the amount you actually need. So what happens when your body gets too much? First, excess vitamin E can interfere with your body's ability to clot blood properly. That may sound unrelated to your legs, but here's the link. Poor clotting can increase the risk of internal microbleeds in joints or muscles, especially if you're also on blood thinners. This can result in swelling, soreness, and slower recovery after even mild exertion. Second, and more relevant to mobility, high levels of vitamin E have been shown to negatively affect muscle tone, nerve signaling, and proprioception, your sense of balance and body position. Some studies have found that older adults taking high-dose vitamin E had poorer muscle coordination, increased risk of dizziness, and slower reflex responses. That can mean more wobbling when walking, slower reactions to slipping, and less confidence going up or down stairs. I remember Henry, a 70-year-old viewer from Florida, who reached out to me last year. He'd been taking a popular anti-aging blend with high-dose vitamin E for 2 years. He said he felt great at first, more energy, clearer skin, but over time he started noticing leg cramps at night, soreness after short walks, and more frequent stumbles when walking on uneven pavement. It wasn't until he stopped the supplement that those symptoms slowly began to fade. And just like with vitamin A, many people don't realize how much vitamin E they're taking. It can show up in multivitamins, heart health blends, and vision or skin formulas. Combine that with a healthy diet that already includes sources of vitamin E, like nuts, seeds, and leafy greens, and you may be getting too much without even knowing it. So what should you do? First, check your supplement labels. If you're taking more than 200 IU of vitamin E per day, especially in synthetic form, often labeled as DL-alpha tocopherol, consider cutting back. Second, focus on food-based sources of vitamin E. These include almonds, sunflower seeds, spinach, avocado, and olive oil. These foods not only provide vitamin E in safe amounts, but also include healthy fats and other nutrients that support muscle and nerve function. Third, remember that balance is better than overload. Antioxidants work best in harmony with your body, not in excess. More isn't always better. Sometimes more is just more risk. If you've ever taken a vitamin E supplement, or still are, let me know by typing the number 3 in the comments. Let's talk about it and help each other make safer choices. In the final part of this section, we'll go over what you can do today to correct course if you've been taking these 2 vitamins, and how to strengthen your legs with the right nutrients and habits. By now you've seen how 2 vitamins, vitamin A and vitamin E, can quietly work against you if taken in the wrong way. And yet, they're still some of the most commonly used supplements among older adults. This is where awareness turns into action. Let's quickly recap. Vitamin A, especially in the form of preformed retinol, can thin your bones and increase fracture risk, particularly in the hips and legs. This weakens your structural support and puts more pressure on your muscles and joints. When taken in high doses over long periods, it becomes a silent threat to mobility and independence. Vitamin E, when taken at excessive levels, can interfere with blood clotting, muscle coordination, and nerve signaling. This doesn't just cause leg fatigue or cramps, it also puts you at risk of falls, instability, and slower recovery after activity. And for those taking blood thinners or dealing with circulation issues, the risk is even higher. What makes these risks more dangerous is that they build up slowly. You might feel fine for weeks, even months, but the changes are happening in the background, quietly eroding your strength, balance, and confidence with every step. So how can you protect yourself and still support your body's needs? Here's a simple plan. 1. Review your current supplements. Pull out every bottle, multivitamins, eye health, immune boosters, bone formulas, and check the labels. Look for vitamin A as retinol and vitamin E, especially in doses above 200 IU. Add up how much you're really taking each day. You might be surprised. 2. Switch to food-first nutrition. Your body knows how to handle nutrients that come from real food. Carrots, sweet potatoes, leafy greens, almonds, seeds, avocados, and olive oil all provide safe, balanced amounts of these vitamins without the risk of overload. 3. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist. especially if you're already taking medications, managing chronic conditions, or recovering from an injury. Ask whether your current supplements are still appropriate for your age, your bones, and your activity level. What worked at 50 might not work at 70. 4. Build muscle through movement. Even gentle exercises, like standing from a chair without using your hands, calf raises, or leg extensions while seated, can help preserve muscle and improve blood flow in your legs. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day can make a difference. 5. Keep your hydration and sleep in check. Water and rest are often underrated, but they're essential for muscle recovery and nerve function. Aim for consistent hydration throughout the day and try to get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep at night. This isn't about fear. It's about taking back control. The vitamins we covered today aren't evil. They're essential nutrients, but only when used correctly and in the right context. What matters is knowing how much your body actually needs and when more can become too much. So here's what I'd like you to do right now. Take 5 minutes today to check your supplements. Look at the labels. Write down the dosages of vitamin A and vitamin E. And if you find you've been taking more than the recommended amount, don't panic, just adjust. Then come back to the comments and type the number 4 to let me know you checked. Because taking that small action might just be the beginning of something big: stronger legs, better balance, and a renewed sense of confidence every time you get up and move. And if you found this part of the video helpful, share it with someone you care about, a friend, a sibling, a neighbor. We all want to stay strong and independent as we age, but we can't do that if we're unknowingly weakening ourselves. In the next section of this video, we'll shift gears and look at 5 everyday foods that could be making your legs feel tired and stiff, and what to eat instead to restore energy and strength. You won't want to miss it. Now that we've covered the 2 most misleading vitamins, let's take a closer look at something even more common, and perhaps even more overlooked: the foods we eat every single day. Most people believe that leg weakness is a natural part of aging. But the truth is, much of the discomfort, fatigue, and instability you may feel in your legs is directly influenced by what's on your plate. The foods you eat can either fuel strong, responsive muscles or slowly erode your strength with every bite. Let me share what I've seen with people in my own circle. A friend of mine named Joyce, she's 74 and lives in Ohio, always believed she was eating healthy enough. Toast and jam for breakfast, canned soup or sandwiches for lunch, something quick and easy for dinner. But she began to feel her legs tiring out faster, and she was getting more muscle cramps at night. At first, she blamed it on her age, then her arthritis. But once we reviewed her diet, the answer became obvious. So let's look at the 5 foods that could be weakening your legs, and how to replace them with better choices. 1. Refined sugar. This is the biggest culprit, and it's everywhere. In pastries, cereals, soda, flavored yogurts, sauces, and even in so-called healthy snacks. Refined sugar increases systemic inflammation, which contributes to muscle soreness, joint stiffness, and chronic fatigue. It also leads to blood sugar spikes and crashes, which deprive your muscles of steady energy. The result? Your legs feel weak, shaky, or heavy, especially a few hours after eating. Even more concerning, a high-sugar diet can impair circulation, making it harder for oxygen and nutrients to reach the muscles in your legs. Over time, this reduces endurance and increases your risk of cramping or even nerve damage. What to do instead? Focus on natural sources of sweetness like berries, apples, and cinnamon. If you crave dessert, try a small bowl of Greek yogurt with fruit or a baked sweet potato. You don't have to give up sweetness, you just need to choose wisely. 2. Fried foods. That crispy golden crunch might be satisfying in the moment, but deep-fried foods like French fries, fried chicken, and onion rings are loaded with trans fats and oxidized oils that promote inflammation in your joints and muscles. These unhealthy fats disrupt blood flow, reduce flexibility, and contribute to that heavy leg feeling many people describe. Even worse, fried foods are often paired with refined carbs and sodium, which together create the perfect storm for water retention, swelling, and sluggish muscle response. You might not feel it right away, but over time, your legs will. Healthier alternative: try oven roasting your vegetables with olive oil, or air frying lean cuts of meat with herbs. You still get that satisfying texture, but without the inflammation and long-term damage. 3. White bread and refined grains. Foods like white bread, white rice, and traditional pasta may be staples in many diets, but they're stripped of fiber and essential nutrients. These refined carbs convert quickly into sugar in your bloodstream, creating that same spike and crash cycle that leaves your muscles underfueled and overworked. They also offer little to support muscle repair or energy stability, which is critical as you age. When your legs don't receive the steady glucose and amino acids they need, they fatigue faster and recover slower. Choose instead whole grains like oatmeal, quinoa, whole grain bread, or brown rice. These complex carbs digest more slowly, keeping your blood sugar steady and your muscles energized throughout the day. Let me pause here and ask, have you noticed any of these foods in your own daily routine? Maybe toast and jam in the morning? A fast food lunch once in a while? If so, just type the number 5 in the comments, not to judge, just to acknowledge. Becoming aware is the first step to change. In the second half of this section, we'll look at 2 more surprising foods that often slip under the radar, ones that may seem healthy but could be adding to your leg problems more than helping. Let's continue with the next 2 foods that may be contributing to leg weakness, especially in older adults. 4. Processed meats. Items like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli slices, and even canned meats are often chosen for convenience. But what they offer in ease, they take away in long-term health. Processed meats are typically high in sodium, preservatives like nitrates, and inflammatory fats, a combination that worsens joint stiffness, reduces blood flow to the legs, and contributes to chronic low-grade inflammation. Over time, this inflammation doesn't just affect your arteries or heart, it directly damages the muscle fibers and nerve endings in your legs, making them less responsive and more prone to fatigue. In people already dealing with arthritis or circulatory issues, the effects can be even more pronounced. What to eat instead? Choose lean, unprocessed proteins like grilled chicken, turkey, fish, or legumes. If you enjoy sandwiches, try sliced roasted turkey breast you cook yourself, or mashed chickpeas with olive oil and herbs. These options provide muscle-building protein without the inflammatory baggage. 5. Alcohol. Now, a glass of wine once in a while isn't the end of the world, but for many older adults, regular alcohol intake, even in moderate amounts, can quietly damage muscle tissue, reduce nutrient absorption, and disrupt the balance of electrolytes that your leg muscles depend on for strength and coordination. Alcohol also interferes with vitamin D and calcium metabolism, both of which are essential for bone and muscle integrity. And perhaps most notably, alcohol is dehydrating, which can make muscle cramps more frequent and more painful, especially at night. Let me tell you about Carl, a retired school teacher I met through our online community. He enjoyed a glass or 2 of beer each evening and never thought much of it. But over time he started getting severe nighttime leg cramps and found himself waking up with sore calves. It wasn't until he took a month off from alcohol while boosting hydration and adding potassium-rich foods that the cramps nearly disappeared. So what can you do? First, monitor your intake. If you drink alcohol regularly, consider cutting back to 1 or 2 days a week, or taking a break altogether to see how your body responds. Second, stay well hydrated, especially if you've consumed alcohol earlier in the day. Third, make sure your meals are rich in minerals like magnesium and potassium to protect against electrolyte imbalances. Let's quickly review all 5 food categories. 1. Refined sugar. 2. Fried foods. 3. White bread and refined grains. 4. Processed meats. 5. Alcohol. Each of these, when consumed regularly, can quietly weaken your legs by increasing inflammation, reducing circulation, disrupting nutrient balance, or undermining muscle function. But the good news is, you don't need a complete overhaul. Small changes made consistently can produce lasting strength and relief. Now, if you recognized more than one of these foods in your weekly meals, type the number 6 in the comments. I'd love to know how many of us are in this together. And if you've already made changes in your diet and noticed an improvement in leg strength or energy, feel free to share that as well. Your story could inspire someone else to take the first step. In the next part of this video, we'll explore how to repair and rebuild leg strength through smarter nutrition, movement, and recovery, because removing the bad is just one half of the equation. The other half, feeding your legs what they truly need. Now that we've identified what might be weakening your legs, whether it's the wrong supplements or hidden ingredients in common foods, let's shift our focus to something far more empowering, what you can do to rebuild and restore leg strength, starting today. Because here's the truth, no matter how long you've been struggling with weak legs, tired muscles, or stiffness, it's not too late to reverse the trend. Muscle loss isn't a one-way street. With the right inputs, your body can rebuild strength, improve mobility, and restore confidence, even well into your 70 seconds, 80 seconds, or beyond. Let's begin with nutrition, because your muscles are made from what you eat, and one of the most important nutrients for leg strength is protein. Unfortunately, many older adults don't get enough high-quality protein. Appetite often decreases with age, and chewing or digestion may become more difficult. Some people also reduce meat intake for health reasons, which is understandable, but if not done carefully, it can lead to unintended muscle loss. So, how much do you really need? Research now suggests that adults over 60 should aim for 1.2 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day, much higher than the general recommendation for younger people. And just as important as the total amount is the timing. Don't save all your protein for dinner. Instead, spread it out throughout the day, especially at breakfast and lunch, when many people tend to fall short. Try this. And breakfast with Greek yogurt, chia seeds, and a handful of berries, and a lunch with lentil soup, quinoa, and sautéed greens, and a dinner with grilled salmon, roasted vegetables, and sweet potatoes. If you have trouble meeting your protein needs through food alone, consider a protein shake made with whey or a plant-based alternative. Choose a formula with at least 20 grams of protein per serving and minimal added sugar. Next, let's talk about essential micronutrients, specifically vitamin D, magnesium, and potassium. Vitamin D helps your muscles contract properly and supports calcium absorption for strong bones. Many older adults are deficient, especially those who spend less time in the sun. Ask your doctor to test your levels and consider supplementation if needed, typically around 800 to 1000 IU daily for adults over 65. Magnesium is another key player. It helps your muscles relax, prevents cramps, and supports nerve function. It's found in nuts, seeds, whole grains, and leafy greens. But be aware, many medications, including diuretics and acid blockers, can deplete magnesium over time. And potassium? It's crucial for hydration, muscle contractions, and electrolyte balance. Bananas, avocados, beans, and spinach are excellent sources. I know that's a lot of information, but don't feel overwhelmed. Just think of it like building a team for your legs. Protein is the builder. Vitamin D is the supervisor, magnesium is the calming force, and potassium is the communicator. When they work together, your legs have the support they need to recover and stay strong. Let me ask, have you ever tried changing your diet to improve your leg strength or reduce cramping? If yes, type the number 7 in the comments and let me know what worked for you. Your story might be the encouragement. Someone else needs to take that same first step. In the next part, we'll go beyond food and supplements and dive into simple daily movements and recovery habits that can dramatically improve leg strength, even if you've been inactive for a while. Now let's talk about movement, because building strong legs doesn't just happen in the kitchen, it happens in motion. But don't worry, I'm not talking about gym memberships or strenuous workouts. I'm talking about small, consistent actions that train your legs to be strong, stable, and reliable again. Remember, after 60, our bodies become less efficient at building muscle from movement. That means short periods of exercise, done regularly, can be far more effective than occasional long sessions. The goal isn't exhaustion, it's consistency. Here are 3 of the most effective leg strengthening exercises for older adults. 1. Sit to stand chair squats. This simple move mimics an everyday activity, getting up from a chair. Sit on a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the ground. Cross your arms over your chest or hold them out in front of you. Then slowly stand up and sit back down, without using your hands for support. Do this 10 times, once or twice a day. It strengthens your quads, glutes, and improves balance. 2. Calf raises. Stand behind a chair and place your hands on the backrest for balance. Slowly lift your heels off the ground so you're standing on your toes. Hold for a second, then lower down slowly. Aim for 10 to 15 repetitions. This builds ankle strength and improves circulation in your lower legs. 3. Seated leg extensions. Sit in a chair with your back straight and feet flat. Slowly extend one leg until it's straight in front of you. Hold for 2 seconds, then lower. Alternate between legs. This strengthens the quadriceps, which are essential for walking and standing. These movements may seem small, but they target the exact muscles responsible for your daily independence. They can be done while watching TV, listening to music, or even during a phone call. And if done consistently, they'll restore stability and reduce your risk of falls. Now, let's not forget recovery. Many older adults experience leg pain not because they overexert, but because they don't recover properly. After activity, take a few minutes to stretch your calves, hamstrings, and thighs. Stay hydrated throughout the day to keep your muscles supple and prevent cramps. Also, don't underestimate the power of good sleep. During sleep, your body repairs tissue, replenishes energy, and rebuilds muscle. If you're not sleeping well, your recovery and strength will suffer. Aim for 7 to 8 hours each night, and try winding down with a warm bath, herbal tea, or gentle stretching. Finally, try to walk every day, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes. Walking stimulates blood flow, activates large muscle groups, and maintains the rhythm of natural movement. If you can walk outdoors safely, even better. Sunlight will help with vitamin D synthesis and boost your mood. To recap, eat balanced, move daily, recover well, and be kind to your legs. They've carried you through a lifetime, and they can continue to do so for years to come. If you're ready to commit to just one of these habits today, whether it's adding a protein-rich breakfast or doing a few calf raises, type the number 8 in the comments. Let's hold each other accountable. Small steps lead to strong strides. In the final part of this video, we'll summarize the key takeaways and share a simple plan you can follow to keep your legs strong, your body balanced, and your life full of motion and independence. So here we are, at the end of our journey through something that at first glance might have seemed simple: leg strength after 60. But if you've stayed with me through this entire video, you now understand it's anything but simple. Because keeping your legs strong in your 60 seconds, 70 seconds and beyond isn't just about walking more or avoiding injury. It's about knowing what's helping you and what's hurting you, even when it's marketed as healthy. We've talked about how certain vitamins, specifically vitamin A and vitamin E, can backfire when taken in high doses, especially from supplements. We saw how they can slowly erode bone strength, interfere with muscle function, and increase the risk of balance issues, swelling, or even falls. We also uncovered 5 everyday foods that seem harmless or even enjoyable, but quietly sabotage our circulation, fuel chronic inflammation, and weaken the muscles and nerves in our legs. And most importantly, we've seen how small, simple, consistent changes in your nutrition, supplements, and daily movement can bring your strength back. You don't need to go to the gym. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to give your body what it truly needs, and stop giving it what slowly tears it down. Let me share a quick story before we close. Earlier this year, I heard from a subscriber named Marlene. She's 79, lives in North Carolina, and had been struggling with leg pain for over a year. She'd tried creams, massages, even new shoes, but nothing seemed to help. Then she watched one of our videos about magnesium and hydration. She cut back on processed food, started eating more avocado and spinach, and added some light stretches each morning. 3 weeks later, she sent me a message, "My legs feel lighter. I feel like I can move again." That message stayed with me, because Marlene didn't do anything extreme. She didn't follow a complicated plan. She just made a few smart choices and stuck with them. And that's what I want for you too. So before we finish, I want you to do 3 things. First, if you haven't already, take a few minutes today to check your supplements. Look at the labels, especially for vitamin A and vitamin E. Are the doses too high? Are there duplicate sources? If something doesn't feel right, make a note of it and talk to your doctor. Second, think about your meals this week. Can you swap out one processed food for something whole and nourishing? Maybe add a handful of spinach to your eggs, or swap toast for oatmeal with chia and berries. Third, pick one movement, just one, from this video, and do it today. Maybe it's sit to stand. Maybe it's a short walk outside. Maybe it's stretching your calves before bed. Whatever it is, just start. And then, if you're ready to commit, just a little, to stronger legs, better balance, and a life with more movement and less fear, I want you to type the number 9 in the comments. Not for me, for yourself. Because sometimes one small action is all it takes to start changing direction. You've made it this far, and I want to say thank you. Thank you for caring about your health. Thank you for being curious. And thank you for giving your body and your legs the chance to thrive again. If you found this video helpful, please consider sharing it with a friend, a neighbor, or a loved one. Because what you've learned today about supplements, food, and leg strength can make the difference between living cautiously or living fully. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. We share practical, science-backed tips for healthy aging every week, and we're building a community where we support each other through every step. Until next time, keep moving, keep learning, and never forget, your legs were made to carry you forward. Let's make sure they always can.